Hey, guys, welcome to my channel. Please subscribe for more amazing videos.
Director Mueller, again, I thank you for being here. I agree with your March 27th letter. There was public confusion, and the president took full advantage of that confusion by falsely claiming your report found no obstruction. Let us be clear, your report did not exonerate the president. Instead, it provided substantial evidence of obstruction of justice, leaving Congress to do its duty. We shall not shrink from that duty. I yield back.
That duty presumably being impeachment. Congresswoman Madeleine Dean, one of nearly 100 Democrats now in favor of moving forward, but that leaves almost 60% either opposed or wary of voicing their support. Politico puts it this way: the dual appearances by Nadler and Pelosi on Friday, which caused some confusion on Capitol Hill, underscored the challenge for the Democratic caucus about how and whether to move ahead with high-stakes legal proceedings that could be seen as a backdoor to the start of the impeachment process. But when asked at the end of a press conference today just what is going on, here's how the chairman of the Judiciary Committee responded.
Do you believe President Trump will ultimately leave office being impeached by this House, regardless of timeline?
I don't know.
Thank you very much.
A little bit of a shrug, and then he was gone. And joining us now, the aforementioned Congresswoman Dean, Democrat of Pennsylvania, who represents the Montgomery County area, the Philadelphia suburbs, and serves on the Judiciary Committee. So, Congresswoman, what is it and what is it not? Is it, as we termed it, however inexact, kind of an impeachment light?
I don't think it's an impeachment light. I think it was a very important day and an extremely important week. I was proud to be a part of the Judiciary Committee's presentation with Robert Mueller, who came before us with such credibility and such dignity, as your previous guest spoke. A man with a biography matched by none, a man of extraordinary integrity, who helped us lay out for the American people the extraordinary wrongdoing that he found as a result of his investigation. Extraordinary wrongdoing by Russia, massive interference with our elections, and it continues to this day and will continue into the next election cycle. A campaign, Trump campaign, that enjoyed it, welcomed it, wallowed in it, knowing it was to their benefit, more than 100 contacts, and never bothered to call law enforcement. And then, of course, a president who, once he realized he was under investigation, did everything in his power to try to thwart that investigation, including lying. So what today I think was a pivotal point. I think Mueller was the end of Chapter 1 of our oversight. And today I think we say with clarity that Judiciary is using its full constitutional power under Article 1 and thus begins an impeachment investigation.
Respectfully, I would push back by saying that perhaps this is a bad look if this is indeed impeachment, because the world learned about it in a document that seeks to unmask some grand jury information, and you and your colleagues are gone, left town for 6 weeks.
Well, I think what you might know about us on the Judiciary Committee, that I and everybody else around the table raised their hands and said, we're not gone for 6 weeks. We're willing to be in during the district work period. So don't believe that we won't be doing our work. The other thing that happened as a result of the court filing today, and the very language that Jerry Nadler read in public, which was coordinated with in a great strategy, legal strategy, and otherwise with the Speaker's office, was to give an extra sense of urgency to the courts, so that with the grand jury material filing today and next week, if we have to, and we're prepared to do that, enforce the subpoenas by way of lawsuit in court against Mr. McGahn. It gives that extra sense of urgency so the courts can deliberate much more quickly. And so I don't see this as a 6-week break, and I don't see this as a slowdown. This is an important inflection point where we're trying to say to the American people, Robert Mueller's report has spoken, even though we have an attorney general that did everything in his power to obstruct the information in it, to cause public confusion, which Robert Mueller told him and warned him that he was creating. And so I don't take the argument that this is either impeachment light or unimportant.
On the other hand, you have colleagues like Congressman Van Drew on the conservative side of the Democratic ledger from South Jersey, the old Lobiondo seat, saying on this network tonight, he just doesn't see it. He's not there. There are a ton of vulnerable Democrats, and the Speaker, after all, is figuring on your behalf that it's better to be in the majority than not.
Well, I have such respect for Nancy Pelosi, for the Speaker of the House. Imagine what she is managing. I feel that I am a worker bee on the Judiciary Committee, and it's my job to make sure we push our oversight as well as our substantive legislation. You've seen us pass a tremendous number of substantive bills, but we have our job to do. I've actually had people come up to me on the floor of the House, members who are not on this committee, to say, where are you and why did you push for impeachment inquiry? And that helped them decide. Nancy Pelosi has a much bigger burden, and she wisely wants to protect this majority so that we continue to pass the substantive bills that we're passing, whether it's on immigration reform or background checks for gun violence, as the Senate sits on their hands, or protection of our election system as the Senate sits on their hands. So I so admire what she is doing and how she is actually obviously wanting to protect this majority, because it's a very powerful majority, and some people have districts that would be very difficult. So she's shepherding a whole caucus. She has to lead a whole Congress. And what she has said is we have to put the facts before the American people. With public sentiment, almost anything is possible, as she quotes Lincoln, and without it, almost nothing is. It's our job to get the facts before the American people.